Did.
No.
All
We're getting
right.
a blizzard. Go ahead.
Oh, we get a blizzard too.
Are you really?
Yeah, we get a blizzard.
Happy blizzard.
All right, so let's talk Mandala. And I like this episode lays the groundwork for what's yet to come, really. And
Um,
go ahead.
did you? It was until today that I decided to find out what Mandala really meant. Did you
Oh
look that
yeah,
up?
I'll look that up.
Yeah, that's kind of cool.
Yeah, it is. So we get started, and I forgot about Combo until he gets shot. I did. I
Which one
forgot
is
all.
he?
Yeah, I forgot all about him, and then he got shot. I was like, oh my God, what in the heck is going on?
As the opener.
Yeah.
And that kid is a shock. You don't expect him. He's just riding around, you know.
Hmm.
But
Yeah, I wasn't expecting the kid to shoot Combo. When
no.
I first saw it, I was like, oh my God, what is going to happen?
And you notice that kid is really like scared about it,
Hmm.
but he's trained at it.
Yeah.
You know. I wonder how
And,
much money he got for that.
and this is going to be a groundwork for a very important story in the future.
It's a groundwork for a few stories, but
Hmm.
yeah, it's the introduction of a very important character.
Yeah.
Um, and you know what? There's a lullaby being sung in this that will come up in another episode.
Hmm.
I don't know if you were thinking about that when you heard it, but they tie together. But
Yeah.
that's like season 3, I think. So
Yeah, we're only two more episodes left in this season.
I know this is it's crazy. I was thinking about how they knew exactly what they were doing when they started the season.
Hmm.
They knew where they were taking it, and the complete opposite happened with 5.
Yeah.
They just put some cards on the table and said, "All right, let's work this out."
Yeah.
So it's fun. Their creative process is not stagnant,
Hmm. But
But yeah,
go
go
ahead.
for it.
Go ahead.
I keep interrupting you. Well, no, it's part of it. Besides setting up what's going to happen in the future, um, for the next couple of seasons, it's about the circle of life,
Hmm.
the end of one, the beginning of another.
Hmm. Yeah, I looked that up today. I was like, oh man, I never knew what mandala meant until I looked it up.
Yeah.
But we see some more tension with Walt and Skyler. Him missing he basically missed the OBGYN appointment,
Again.
the ultrasound.
Yeah. Well, he was a little late.
Well, he blamed traffic.
Yeah. Well, he's always blaming something else. But you know what's interesting? I didn't really notice this before. When was it last? Was it an? Oh, I think it was last week when he got the good news
Hmm.
about his cancer, and he was upset. He
Yeah.
really didn't. He punches that paper towel dispenser, takes it out on that, and this time, and in the beginning, when Skylar finds out he's got cancer, she wants to do the best of everything, and now she's like, "Don't you think we should talk about it with the
Hmm.
surgery?" And he's like, "No, I think that's the way to go."
Yeah. Yeah.
It,
They didn't even discuss it. He just went in and said, yeah, let's go ahead and do this.
right. Well, same when the doctor suggested a C-section, Walt didn't get to answer, but
Hmm.
there was something unspoken there. When Skylar says that her last labor was really tough, she's talking about Junior,
Hmm.
and CP can be caused by deprivation of oxygen at some point during birth.
Yeah.
So I think
And they said
that
that she
was
had low fluid.
low fluid with Holly.
Hmm.
But what she was saying was, given Skylar's history, when she gave birth to Junior, apparently it was a really difficult delivery,
Mhm.
and that is probably why he has CP.
Yeah.
So it was probably something they didn't even have to talk about it. Yeah, let's just
Hmm.
cut you open, get that kid out. No oxygen deprivation here.
Hmm.
But um, I don't know. There's so many things going on in this, and it goes by so fast.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah, the Walt and Skylar, there isn't really a lot of it. When they come out of the office, they're a couple. They talk about
Hmm.
the date and how they like the date, and Skylar Skylar has put aside her anger and suspiciousness for now, and she's back in the marriage, and she's not really on him really in this episode.
Yeah. You think it's because the baby's coming? Because I think it's because of the baby. I
I
really do.
think it's because she wants things to be okay. And because from her view, he backed out of it. He really hasn't been that active. He's been too busy having surgery, recuperating from surgery. And there was that long period of time. I mean, he didn't even see Jesse for a long time,
Hmm.
as we saw last week. So, and, Walt was back.
Yeah.
The second cell phone thing out of her head, and it's status quo back to normal. But he's a little insecure when she's going off to work to pick up the birthday cake first,
Hmm.
and he seems a little insecure. And I wonder if that has something to do with how Skylar does the happy birthday, Marilyn Monroe style, and she's done it before
Yeah.
because So I wonder if that's something that Walt knows about. But she goes off looking perfectly glowing and gorgeous and dressed up, and it kind of it unsettles him.
Hmm. Yeah.
But she's sort of flirted with Ted at this point, but she's in the
Oh,
marriage.
that happy birthday thing was just icing on the cake.
It's
And no,
just
no, no
singing.
pun intended, but yeah.
Anna Gunn actually can, in real life, can really sing. She
Oh, yeah.
actually has a fantastic voice. Met a friend of hers where I was working this summer, and she told me about it, and I Googled it, and it was a benefit of some sort. People just have to Google Anna Gunn Cats benefit, and she sings memories from Cats, and wow, what a voice! So and so she sings twice in this episode. One's a lullaby,
Hmm.
and one's you know,
The
this
happy birthday.
sexy, yeah, motherly and sexy.
Hmm.
I guess the minority's viewpoint. But then again, she's not very flirty or happy with Ted at the end.
No. You think she's going to break bad? I know we've seen it, but forget about what we saw. Do you think she's going to break bad? Because I think she is. She's going to, because this is the point where in season 4 you get the whole Ted Benicke's in trouble with the IRS.
Right. Yeah, but people aren't supposed to know that yet. But yeah, I'm not sure what's going on at that point. Because like I said, what she had issues with Walt, and I mean, he topped it off with that whole drinking thing and having Heisenberg come out.
Yeah.
But he's been around and um, hasn't been active. So she's trying to keep the family together. I think she's more comfortable that way. She doesn't want to get things to get bad.
Hmm.
But yeah, interesting that she was that she actually wanted to um, discuss whether he should have that surgery or not, the lobectomy.
Yeah. Well, Walt knows that he has money to pay for it, but Skylar doesn't know that.
But she was the one in the beginning saying money's not the problem. We will always work it out. We'll
Hmm.
figure it out. Money's not the problem. But between there and here, we see her talking to Ted after she has this crying fit, and she's like, it doesn't feel any different. It just, everything's the same. It's just been postponed.
Hmm.
And maybe that's the agony of going through every day trying to be normal, but knowing there's an expiration date.
Yeah. We also got the first appearance of Gus in this episode, and something's fishy about Gus.
What? Does he look fishy?
Oh, he's just too calm, too cool. He's too low, Mr. Low Profile. But he's supposed to be like that because he's running a meth empire.
Well, you're not supposed to be anything, but he happens to.
Yeah.
Tuco had his thing. He wasn't exactly calm. But, yeah, I don't remember. I think on the first watch, these are the things you pay attention to. A
Hmm.
man comes up to the table and asks if everything's okay. That means something.
Yeah.
And I could, then of course, Walt ends up going back to Los Pollos Hermanos and sitting there for hours.
Hmm.
And he's figured it out. And he calls, yeah.
I'm surprised he didn't figure out sooner. I think Walt should have figured that out sooner. I mean, you just have some random guy come up to you saying, "How's your dinner?" Like you said, that's something's going on.
Yeah, and well, Jesse was high. I think I don't know. Maybe they were just distracted, and
Hmm.
sometimes some places can actually be annoyingly nice. Like they're always interrupting you. You're looking at, can I help you with something?
Hmm.
You're in the middle of, do you like everything? Yeah. If I don't, I'll call. Yeah, but yeah, we as viewers, and probably most viewers did. They must have realized that he was the guy that I know a guy who knows a guy who knows another guy. Oh yeah, we got a couple of classic lines right in one scene. I didn't realize those two were in
Hmm.
one scene from Saul.
Yeah, Saul.
Two classics. You two suck at peddling meth. And I know a guy who knows a guy who knows another guy.
Hmm. I hope we see that in Better Call Saul. I really do. I hope we see what happens when he. I want to see what happens as soon as he calls that guy that calls the other guy in Better Call Saul. I think that's going to be fantastic.
I think he calls Mike, who calls Victor, who calls Gus. Maybe
Yeah.
I'm wrong. That's what I'm thinking.
Hmm.
And yeah, we meet Victor in this one too.
Yeah.
He's pretending to play with the little kitty vending machines and turns around and just says, in an hour. And, that was
Hmm.
interesting because when Walt's trying to sell this to Gus, he says 38 pounds on a moment's notice.
Hmm.
He gets the moment's notice, and the first thing he asks for is more time.
Yeah.
And he doesn't even know how much conflict he's going to have with time.
Yeah. Yeah, because I mean the baby's coming, and that was the most intense scene I've ever seen. When I first saw this, I was like, "Oh my God, what's going to happen next?" And then that's when they blacked out and said created by Vince Gunn. I'm like, good thing I'm watching this on
Yeah.
Netflix. Good thing I'm watching this on Netflix.
Oh, you did?
Yeah,
Oh, no,
I,
I
I,
was waiting.
I binge watched this on Netflix.
Really?
Yeah, two
I was
summers
waiting week to
ago.
week. Week to week.
Now I know how you guys feel by watching Better Call Saul. That Sunday night at
Yeah.
the end, I'm like, oh my God, now I know how you felt after like 11 months waiting for the half of season 5.
Oh God, yeah. Hank on the toilet. And a lot of time to just obsess about it and rewatch and
Hmm.
rewatch, But yeah, this was week to week. And those episodes always, Breaking Bad went by like 5 minutes. We
Hmm.
were like, every time it would end, be like, seriously, what time is it? Wow, wow, how'd that happen?
Yeah,
And
it
it's
goes by fast.
happening to me with Better Call Saul.
Hmm.
I'm
Me too.
watching
Yeah.
commercial free, and 45 minutes goes by like 5 minutes.
Hmm.
It's this episode just like has so much going on.
Yeah.
Jane and Jesse is there.
Yeah. Jesse and Jane. Jane's back on heroin. That surprised me.
Yeah, and, that's
I knew she was a recovering addict, but I didn't know what drug she was on. And then she came back with heroin, and I'm like, oh my God, she's on the strong stuff, and she's getting Jesse addicted too.
if you're in rehab, it's all strong stuff, really.
Hmm.
Anything that addictive is that dangerous. Coke, alcohol, meth, heroin, prescription drugs, opiates,
Hmm.
the speeds, they're all addictive. So yeah, they're all heavy duty. So I wasn't surprised. And she was a pro.
Yeah.
Boy, she brings home this tidy little box wrapped in paper and
Hmm.
gets going. And yeah, and when she's we don't actually we see her like passed out when he comes home one day.
Hmm.
Okay, and then he's trying to wake her up, and
Yeah.
the first thing she does is go for the meth. He doesn't look all too happy.
No. You think it was Jesse's? I think it was Jesse's fault to turn back on the meth. To turn on meth.
I think it was I think it was her fault because what happened, if you remember, they were hanging out watching TV, and he tells her to leave because he's broken up over combo.
Hmm.
He wants to tweak,
Yeah.
and she's sober, and she really needs to leave. And she reaches for that doorknob and kind of thinks about it. That was her fork in the road.
Hmm.
I can leave and not get sucked into it, or I can go to she goes in the bedroom. Next thing you know, she's doing it too. It's
Yeah,
that
but
easy.
I think Jesse blames himself for it. Just
Oh,
like he blames himself for Combo getting shot.
sure he does. I'm sure he does. Yep.
Because you can tell that Jesse's blaming himself for getting Combo shot because he said, I put him on that street corner, I should have been there, and da 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 da. He blames himself.
Oh yeah, and then it's just gonna get worse.
Hmm.
But you notice in that conversation, he says, "There's some things you don't know about me," and she says, "You're a drug dealer. You pay with cash. You have an alias."
Hmm.
And that's when he says, "All right, well, one of my guys, so you have to leave because
Yeah.
I'm gonna smoke some crystal." And she's like, "It's not gonna help."
Hmm.
And he says, "I don't need you telling me because it is gonna help. And you need to leave." And I wonder sometimes she's holding that doorknob, kind of. It's a little different, but it reminds me of Bridges of Madison County, which was a book, but the movie, the Meryl Streep's character is holding the door of the car, wondering whether she should get out, leave her husband, and run to Clint Eastwood, her
Hmm.
lover, or stay in the car. And she's holding that door, and it's a big life choice.
Hmm.
And Jane holding that door knob, waiting, trying to figure out what to do, and then deciding to stay.
Yeah.
She was allowing herself to get sucked back in. And he enabled her by doing it with her.
Hmm. So it's basically both of their faults.
Yeah, but mostly Jane's.
Hmm. Yeah.
Because the world can't be cleaned up for Jane. Jane has to be able to resist her own temptation.
Hmm.
That's the big challenge.
Yeah.
And yeah, you do stay away from people who do it. You
Hmm.
don't fool yourself into thinking, oh, I can just hang out with them.
Yeah, I was watching the Inside Breaking Bad, and Aaron said that they got a recovering heroin addict to show him how to make heroin and shoot it up. And he said that the guy started shaking and everything because he, remembered what happened when he was on heroin and everything.
Wow. Yeah, they go for some realism there, don't they?
Yeah, and that's what I like about the show is because it's realistic. Somebody can relate with shooting up with heroin if they watch it. If they're in recovery, they can relate to it.
Yeah, I've never played with lighters and spoons and needles, so
Yeah,
it's
I hate needles. I mean, I don't know how these people can do it, shoot up by themselves, but
or
I won't be able to.
diabetics have to.
Yeah, my dad is a diabetic and he's got to take insulin. I don't know how he does it.
Those things are getting a little easier though, but
Yeah.
people lift it up and right in the gut.
Hmm.
Oh, and yeah, the conversation between Jesse and Skinny Pete. Jesse gets off the phone with Walt, who's finally called him back.
Hmm.
That's the famous, which one is combo? You did not just say that. He gets off the phone and he kind of like slides onto the counter at the same time as Skinny Pete. And like, it's almost an optical illusion. It looks like, I think this was definitely on purpose, like a person looking in a mirror.
Hmm.
Because they made the same movements and they went toward each other.
Yeah.
And that little conversation, Jesse finds out he's no longer a blowfish, and Combo's dead, but he wants to keep moving, and Skinny Pete's like, you don't have the street cred for it,
Hmm.
and Combo just died, and Jesse doesn't even go to his funeral.
Yeah.
He probably felt, like you said, too responsible to even be there.
Yeah. He still blames himself, so that's why he didn't show up.
And then a couple of things where people have expectations that are lower than they really are with numbers. When Walt and Jesse are talking to Saul about all the meth they have to sell,
Hmm.
and I think it's Jesse who says, about 32. And Saul's like, 32 ounces, grams, pounds. And Saul's like, wow. And then also, Jesse's complaining to Jane about Walt,
Hmm.
and he owes me, 480 or something, 480. I forgot how it, but she's like, yeah, I'd be pissed if somebody owed me $500.
Yeah.
And he's like, now it's hitting him. He's like, no, 480,000.
Hmm.
Um, you know what? And I got confused about this because I guess this is going to lead up. I thought they were in the same episode. In this episode, when he says 480 and she's like, what? And then Jesse's just lying on his back. He's out of it.
I think that's the next episode.
Is that the next
Yeah,
episode?
that's the next episode.
Oh my
Because
goodness. I must have been watching two episodes in a row. Just watching
yeah,
it all.
because Walt just got done with the deal and he wanted half of the money, but Walt didn't give it to him because Jesse didn't participate. He
Oh
was too
yeah,
drugged out.
That's all. That's right. It's got to be after this. I'm sorry. Kept it on. I guess I kept taking notes. But yeah, there's Skylar showing she's got morals. She's not Breaking Bad as far as making money by breaking the law. She will not sign off on these cookbooks. That whole issue gets interrupted by Ted having to bring her to the hospital.
Hmm.
But
Yeah.
again, that's next episode too, isn't it?
Yeah, that's next episode too.
All right, why don't you lead me because I think I took notes about 2 episodes in a row.
Yeah, I think we talked about most of the important stuff in this episode. The last scene was Walt getting the text saying the baby was coming, and then it cut to black.
Really, cut to black because to me it continues.
Yeah,
I mean,
it
I'm
continues.
watching it on Netflix. 15 seconds to the next episode. I'm sorry. Yeah, I started watching into season 3 today. Yeah, I don't know how I did that. Uh,
Yeah, like I said, that's pretty much it for this episode.
oh yeah, Baby's Coming. Like Baby's Coming is the title of the music that
Mhm.
Dave Porter wrote for the scene when Walt's in the kitchen,
Yeah.
grabbing all the meth and stuffing it in a bag. But yeah, be careful about saying moment's notice. But yeah, that's episode. You're dying to talk about Better Call Saul.
Yes, I am. I know you are too. Better Call Saul was one of the greatest premieres I've ever saw in my life. Yeah, it was fantastic. You know, at first I thought it was like too much in one episode, but then it kind of got me hooked at this final scene. The final scene was like a freaking shocker, I think, to everybody. I was like, holy shit, Tuco is back.
I'm like, phone, yeah. And I
Yeah, I
forgot.
was.
I wanted to watch Twitter while that was on, and I forgot to. But yeah, that flipped me out.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, my friend, my Breaking Bad friend, spoiled it for me because he read that about the opening scene and exactly what it was about. And I was like so jealous. I mean, so I knew the whole black and white sequence
Hmm.
that flash forward into Saul's future. I would have loved to have just taken that in for the first time,
Oh.
and I'm so jealous of people who didn't know. I
Yeah,
mean,
I didn't know, and then I watched it. I thought, what is going on? And then I saw the Cinnabon. I'm like, oh my! I started laughing because, oh man, this is a flash forward to Gene, the manager of Cinnabon.
yeah,
Fantastic stuff.
yeah,
And
in Omaha, Nebraska, just like you said.
I like the comparisons that people make between Saul as manager and Walter from the beginning. They look similar with the mustache, the glasses. They was making some comparisons between Walt and Saul.
Oh, so
Yeah.
like, yeah, kind of dorky.
Hmm.
But I would have flipped out had I gotten to see that, and I don't know why he told me. And I was like, go get out of my house. I can't believe you spoiled that. So thank goodness for Tuco at the end,
Oh, that
because I got a surprise out of it.
I did too.
I just did not see that coming.
No, I
And
didn't see it.
we did some serious forensic watching because we see that woman, Betsy,
Hmm.
that Saul's trying to scam because she wouldn't hire him.
Yeah.
And we see her drive away. It's her. But then you follow the car. Saul follows the car. Well, Jimmy follows the car, and it's this little Mexican woman.
Hmm.
And, like, how did this happen? Where was the handoff? And so we watched, and they are 2 different cars. They're the same model. They're
Hmm.
the same color.
Yeah.
Their license plates both start with a 4, but they're not identical.
the one thing I noticed was that, those little stickers on the back of the windshield with all the family members, that was
Mm-hmm.
not on the car.
Right, right. That was an easy clue right there, if you're paying attention. But we
Yeah.
went through the whole 9 yards, and yeah, that's a bad coincidence.
hmm Yeah, I also know some similarities between Walt and Jimmy. Windshield got broken, got blue tape
Yeah,
on it.
yeah.
You mentioned the kicking in the trash can.
Oh yeah. Look, and it's the same material, the same
Yeah,
shiny metal as that paper towel dispenser. And it also looked like when he first started kicking it, it already had dents.
it did.
That whole scene looked like a routine of his,
hmm
where he came out of there and he kicked it around, and then he went out to that chick who I don't remember her name, but I'm taking
It's
it she's the
Kim.
brother's Kim.
Kim.
I'm taking it she's the brother's secretary
Yeah,
because
yeah, I
she's
think
got
so too.
nothing to do.
hmm
And Walt visited that paper towel dispenser more than once, but he only punched it once. This you get the sense that Saul and this garbage pail have been together before.
Yeah, yeah, because as soon as Kim left, she just picks it up and punts the trash bag over it and punts it back in place.
Like yeah, always right. Um,
Mike,
I,
Mike.
yeah, dribs. Yeah, they're just putting a little sprinkle of him in right now.
hmm
It's driving me nuts.
Yeah.
I'm waiting for more of that.
The
We've
first
got
two
more.
episodes was hilarious with Mike and Saul. With Jimmy, I'm calling him freaking Saul. It's Saul.
It's Saul. Let's just
It's
call him
Saul.
Saul. Let's call him
But
Saul.
but those scenes with the freaking stickers, those were the most hilarious scenes I've ever seen.
Mike giving a shit about stickers. He doesn't give a shit about stickers. He gives a shit about, you know, I mean, this is a demeaning job for Mike, you gotta think.
hmm Yeah.
He's probably taking his shit out on people. And
Well, you gotta expect at this point, Mike's probably retired from law enforcement.
well, I think it was sort of involuntarily retired from the Philly PD.
hmm
I don't think he retired. I think he was asked to leave. Maybe even not so nicely.
hmm
Because you get that sense somewhere along the lines of Breaking Bad.
Yeah.
And he goes from a police officer to parking.
hmm
And Saul really, he's just having a tantrum, but he really hits the button when he's screaming, you know, oh, does this make you feel like a big man? The troll under the bridge. But yeah, Mike needs some kind of control. That's
Yeah.
what he does for a living.
Yeah, hopefully we can get more of Mike. I think
Well,
we are. Yeah.
he's like Bill's second, isn't he? So
hmm
he's supposed to become a major character right now. It's just a little blip, blip.
I think it's too
Or,
soon for Mike. It's too soon for Mike.
I don't know, but he was
No, I'm talking about Mike, full out Breaking Bad Mike. I think it's too soon for that. I think it needs to build
I
to
think.
Breaking Bad Mike.
See, I think Mike has always been Mike. It's just been a matter of who he's worked for,
hmm
and so well, we'll find out. We'll find out his story, but when they promote the series, it's starring Bob Odenkirk and Jonathan Banks. Like he's a main character.
hmm
So, and yeah, I want to see how they go from adversaries to working together.
Yeah.
And my guess is that it's Saul's doing. You notice Saul has this knack of making friends out of his enemies, making business partners out of people who want to kill him. He will turn it all around.
hmm Yeah. Tuco is freaking insane, even without the meth.
Yeah, I mean, he's chiller right now. than he was before.
Yeah. He's
Than he
more
was later.
reasonable. He's more reasonable
Mm.
than he is.
Mm. And he doesn't listen to anybody but Saul.
Hmm.
Saul speaks, and Tuco just like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
Tuco wants to go all out and do all this horrible stuff. I mean, he wants to break both legs, and
Well, he
Saul
wanted to kill
finally,
him first, and Saul backed
yeah,
it down
yeah,
to a broken leg.
right, and that's what he says. I took you from the death penalty to 6 months probation. I'm the best lawyer ever.
Hmm. Now, if it was meth up Tuco, Saul would have been dead.
But here's something that I don't think we will see from Breaking Bad Saul is that once he got his life back from Tuco, you know, he could have just taken off.
You
Learn to
froze
take
up on me.
yes for an answer. You got what you wanted.
Hmm.
Don't keep negotiating, get away. But he stayed to fight for those kids
Yeah.
who he knew or they threw him under the bus.
Hmm.
You know, in the garage at Abuelita's house. Oh shoot! I don't hear anything.
No, you froze
Oh,
up on me.
you did too. We're back.
It's got to be this weather. It's a blizzard out there.
Oh, the wind hasn't even started. Just the snow.
But uh oh god, what else happened? I'm still overshadowed by Tuco. That was a mind blower for me.
He's got
Um,
a paranoid schizophrenic for a
yes,
brother.
his brother. No, he's got a fear of electromagnetism.
Yeah, but I think it's a paranoid delusion. I think. Like,
Well,
well,
I heard somebody said that he has cancer, and that's the reason why he has a fear of electromagnets. But I don't buy the cancer. I don't think it's cancer.
he's that's it. It's like a schizophrenic thing. But I don't know. I saw some really, really rare, convoluted. Um, I was too busy to really like make a mental note of what it was that had to do with electromagnetism, but yeah, pretty funny. You got to put your stuff in the mailbox, and you have to ground yourself, and the refrigerator is a plastic
No
cooler.
electricity, no
Yeah,
nothing.
yeah. Yeah, so when Walt shows up there, I mean not Walt. See, I'm calling him Walt. Saul shows up there drunk, cell phone in his pocket. He
Hmm.
didn't ground himself. The brother is all flipped out.
Yeah.
And it's interesting, but it's not what's carrying it for me. And I'm hoping that I'm not liking it because of the references to Breaking Bad. I want to like it for things it does that had nothing to do with Breaking Bad, or you know what I mean,
Hmm.
including any of the characters. That's what I want to see. A lot of episodes still to flesh this out, but
Yeah.
I, yeah, I mean, I don't want to be one thing that works. I have to say, we didn't get to see Saul in a courtroom in Breaking Bad.
Oh, I love those courtroom scenes.
That was fantastic. Oh my
Yeah.
god. Um, that first case was so sick.
I would never thought in a million years that they would write something like that.
And that Saul's gonna be full of shit at some point because he's a lawyer, but he he's very compelling. He makes his argument first,
Hmm.
and you don't really know what they're talking about.
Yeah. You think it's something that, teenagers actually do. But
Right. And near honor students. I love that. They're not honor students. They're near honor students. It's just he's got a gift.
Mhm.
He's got a gift of having no shame. Not ever. He will. I, I want to say he's willing to humiliate himself
Hmm.
to achieve a goal, but you can't even say that because he's not even humiliated.
Yeah.
He's only humiliated if he doesn't win.
Hmm.
You know, remember at Breaking Bad? I think he said, what did he told somebody he was Kevin Costner, I think it was, or something, and
And
it worked
yeah.
because I believed it, is what he said.
Hmm.
So that's hopeful. And then that montage, that courtroom
Yeah.
montage.
Yeah, I know things was going to go all to hell as soon as that coffee cup turned over.
Coffee cup?
Yeah, I guess it was a coffee. He goes to the coffee vending machine and it squirts out coffee or hot
Oh.
chocolate.
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah,
As soon as it turned over, I thought, yep, something's going to happen.
yeah. And so then what happened?
Nacho came and offered him a deal.
Huh, okay. I didn't take notes on those episodes, so I forgot.
Yeah, I watched both of them last night again.
Did you?
Yeah.
I watched The Walking Dead 3 times this week, but, um, do we have 1 or 2 episodes of The Walking Dead? I can't even remember. I don't know. Anyway, oh, one, because the first 2 episodes of Better Call Saul were
Hmm.
Sunny and Monday. Okay.
Yeah.
All right, I was confused. I watched the second episode of Better Call Saul a couple times, and we did the forensics on it with because that was the
Hmm.
what was it? No, the first one was the one with the big scheme to
Yeah, the first
that
one, and
they
then the
okay.
second one continued it.
Oh yeah, and more. The pictures are flying. There's you know the face down on the ground
Hmm.
thing. So Gus, Walt, Saul.
Yeah.
But yeah,
There's similarities between Saul and Walter. I mean, you have to admit that there's similarities between them. I can see similarities between them. Walter wanted to make a name of himself, so he created Heisenberg. Jimmy wants to make a name of himself, so he created Saul Goodman.
hmm. I think that's going to happen kind of soon because you see what's happening is the firm that his brother works with is taking exception to him using his own name.
Yeah, and then you have that great montage with the great not montage. I don't know what I'm saying, but the great Michael McCain was talking about you need to create a name for yourself, Jimmy.
Yeah. So yeah, I hope for more of that. I hope the story with his brother is explored.
Hmm.
And I'm wondering what was Saul trying to ask him? He's like, could you just? And she's like, no. And it's like apparently it's a frequently asked question. And I don't know if he's asking for sex or some kind of works of magic with the partners in the firm to get him in or something.
Hmm. Well, from what I've read, is that Kim is supposed to play a big role in Better Call Saul,
Hmm.
but we don't know what that role is, and I cannot wait until I find out.
Well, it looks to me like, well, no, because Saul's going to branch out on his own. Maybe she'll be his secretary because she doesn't really have any work right now. The Those guys are keeping him on payroll. I mean, just like Saul said,
Hmm.
it's exactly like Saul said. They're keeping him on the payroll because they don't want to sell. They don't want to buy him out. They can't. Like the brother said, they'll
Hmm.
have to, right. They'll have to liquidate the firm, and
Yeah.
it's over. And he doesn't even want that to happen. Plus, he thinks he's going to get better.
Hmm. You think Saul or maybe even Chuck would buy out the firm and give him to Hamlin? 'Cause I think this is where this is going. I think Saul is going to go behind Chuck's back and try and sell the firm to Hamlin.
I don't know. I think I think Saul's gonna branch out on his own because you notice this is gonna end up being he's like the McDonald's of lawyers right now, and really in Breaking Bad he still is with the gaudy billboards and
Hmm.
you know and he represents everybody,
Yeah.
you know. His commercials give you the sense of the clientele and the cases. I mean, when was it when Badger gets busted
Hmm.
and he goes to see him and he's like, "Oh, okay, Mayhew. Oh, okay, public masturbation." It's just it's a hectic schedule of really crazy low life criminals,
Yeah.
and he's who they call. And he didn't want to do the pro bono work, and
Hmm.
then he decided, what the hell? Because, like we saw in the first case, whether these guys went to jail or not wasn't the point. The
No.
point was he
They
got
cut.
paid to try to defend them, and that's it.
Yeah. And for those that we don't know, that you don't know what we're talking about, the guys cut off a head and try to have sex with it.
Yeah, at a funeral home.
Oh, I thought at a funeral home. I thought it was like a school or something.
No, it had to be a funeral home,
Yeah,
um,
yeah, you
because
have to be right.
they said, oh, there's no blood. They drained all the blood
Yeah,
out.
they drain all the blood out.
And then, like Saul was arguing, the owner of the establishment gives public access to most areas of the premises,
I don't think the
24/7.
morgue is a public access.
Right. This is, yeah. That's like that stretch of the truth, like near honor students,
Hmm.
you know. And he's so convincing, but you haven't heard from the prosecution yet, and
Hmm.
they don't even talk.
Yeah, that
They
was terrific.
they
It
just
is,
wheel out the TV, play the
and
video.
Saul's office is inside a nail salon, the same nail salon that
Yes,
he tries to get Walt to buy, so they can
Jesse.
launder money, Jesse to
That's
buy, so they can launder
yeah,
money. Well, he
yep,
asks Skylar and Walt too for the nail salon as well.
yeah, and laser tag.
Hmm.
But yeah, when I saw that salon, I said that looks so familiar. I think that is the one. And I still haven't looked at the episode again, the Breaking Bad episode, but that makes sense. It totally makes sense. He's comfortable
Hmm.
with these people.
Yeah.
You work with people when you can trust somebody to be dependable and
Hmm.
one hand washes the other. You hang on to them. You don't keep looking for new people.
Yeah.
So, yeah, pretty funny stuff. And the way he answers like he's his own secretary and he changes his voice and claims that his office is being painted and so they have to meet somewhere else.
Hmm.
So he's just doing so many pro bono cases right now to try to make a bunch of money.
Yeah.
And I don't know where this is going to take him. I'm thinking, I don't know, is this a spoiler or not? But Chuck's brother doesn't exist in Breaking Bad.
No,
I don't even remember him mentioning a brother.
I don't.
So
Can't
I've got to
remember either.
assume that maybe Chuck dies, Saul
Ooh.
gets some
Uh,
money, starts
I'm,
his
yeah.
business.
Yeah. That could be a possibility. I
I
was
think,
thinking as soon as I saw Chuck, I'm thinking he's gonna die. I don't know how he's gonna die.
well, he seems significantly older than Saul.
Hmm.
Like, oops, mommy got pregnant and didn't expect it when Chuck was graduating high school or something.
Hmm.
But, it's also he could just be more beaten. He's sick. I
Yeah.
still think it's mental. I still think it's a schizophrenic kind of thing. But it'd be kind of weird for it to happen that late in life. Although I think it can. I guess we'll find out.
Yeah.
But I'm wanting more of that stuff. I love the Breaking Bad things. We saw 6 characters from Breaking Bad all together, including Saul and one guy in a commercial. We had Gonzo, we had Nodos.
Yeah, though that was great. I like Nacho. I think Nacho is going to be a great new character.
Yeah, and I want to know what's the deal with Tuco and Nacho right now? Is Nacho a level above Tuco? Are they family?
That's what I was thinking. I think that was family, and that Nacho was trying to train Tuco in to take over the business. That's what I was thinking.
And Tuco, in that situation, he's almost like the Jesse to Nacho. Because he's like, oh, what did they say? Oh, what? Oh,
Operation Teambreaker.
yo, I'm a king. Yeah, like I'm a blowfish.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Tuco's Tuco's definitely nuts,
Yeah.
and Nacho's trying to teach him that you don't always have to kill.
Mm-hmm.
That you can, but it's like be cool about it, selective. And Tuco listens to Nacho, but boy, he just lapped up everything Saul had to say
Mm-hmm.
when he got out in that desert.
Yeah.
Saul could have sold him, a bridge to Mars at that point.
We also saw some foreshadowing between No Dose and Tuco. Stop helping.
Yes! Oh, yeah, I couldn't help but notice that, too. And it's interesting because if somebody hasn't watched Breaking Bad,
Mm-hmm.
these scenes all make sense.
Yeah.
But they have another dimension to them to us.
Mm-hmm. The
And
show has to appeal
Tuco's
to
wardrobe, too. Oh, my God.
Yeah, the show has to appeal to the Breaking Bad fans and the fans that's just now experiencing Breaking Bad and the fans that hasn't seen Breaking Bad yet. So they got a lot of ground to cover for this series.
Yeah, I'm all over the place. First of all, I usually hate sequels. Sequels usually suck.
This isn't a sequel though; it's a prequel.
Whatever. A spin-off is that's the word I'm looking for, actually, is spin-off. Spin-offs usually suck.
Mm-hmm.
There are exceptions. And then as it came up and critics were getting to preview those first 2 episodes ahead of time and write about them, the reviews were just all rave reviews. I have not seen a critic say something bad about this at all.
Yeah, I haven't seen one bad thing either.
And so I got really psyched. I'm like, all right, I'm going to watch this. And it does have its own, it's got its own style. It still does some interesting cinematography, but not the handheld, realistic, shaky, Breaking Bad kind of interesting perspectives. Like when they show, I think it's the ceiling in Saul's office.
Yeah, and it looks like a jail cell.
Yep. And the music, it's still Dave Porter.
Oh, the music is fantastic.
But it's so different. It sounds nothing like Breaking Bad.
No.
It's completely different. It's really, really amazing. He creates a style for a show. And then, boom, this is the style I'm using for this show. And I don't know, sometimes it's like, it reminds me of 70s, like, comedy something. I don't know. But it's definitely got its own personality.
Yeah. Yeah, I can't wait to next. I can't wait to Monday.
I know when it ended, I came home from work and we watched it. It was like the next day, and And I was really excited about it. And I'm sitting here, we're watching it, and I'm thinking, I'm hungry. Maybe I'll pause it and go grab something to eat and come back.
Hmm.
And then the credits are rolling. And I was like, we kind of sat there in silence for like a minute. Like, well, so, like, I don't think either of us wanted to be the one that's to say, you want to watch it again? But it was like, he's like, when is this on again? I'm like, next Monday. Not Sunday, Monday. But yeah, I'm glad I'm liking it. But I
Yeah.
just don't want to like it because it ties to Breaking Bad.
Hmm.
I do want to enjoy those little Easter eggs and cameos though.
Yeah, I can't wait for those.
And I think we're gonna get a ton of movie references out of this because
Yeah.
we already are.
Hmm.
I have a cousin who was in the movie network, by the way, so I thought that was kind of cool.
Yeah, I think I better watch the network sometime soon so that I can get the references.
It's like a '70s movie. But yeah, my mother's cousin, and I don't remember what's a second cousin and what's first cousin once removed. I never get that right, but has done a lot of like smaller parts and all kinds of things, and he was in network. So I thought that was really cool. Saul likes his movies. He uses it a lot in Breaking Bad.
Mm-hmm.
And now that the show is all him, there's going to be a lot of movie references, and I really look forward to that.
Yeah.
That'll be fun. You wait. There's going to be like a database of Saul's movie references.
Hmm.
And may they please get the seasons they need to see this through.
Yeah.
Because like season 2 of Breaking Bad, or season 5, well, no, more like season 2, they showed us where Saul's going to end up from the very beginning.
Hmm.
Here's this guy, and here's what's going to happen to him later. All right, now let's go back 6 years and retrace his steps.
Hmm.
So they have to have enough seasons to get there. That's kind of ambitious.
Yeah, because it's scheduled for 2 seasons.
Right.
So are they going to tell the whole story within 2 seasons, or are they going to do like Breaking Bad and do it within 5?
Well, that's the thing. I mean, and I've seen shows cut off before they've ever gotten to tie things up before. But,
Hmm.
it's ambitious. I think that they're banking on it. If they get the Breaking Bad people, they get some new people. Um, yeah, I guess it depends on when they find out. I don't think they've
Yeah.
started to shoot season 2 yet.
Season 2 is supposed to air in 2016.
Right, so I don't think they've
So,
shot it yet.
so they're probably going to do it this summer.
And they have to know, they'll have to see how this goes, how are ratings, blah, blah, blah,
Hmm.
Can we get you guys to promise us another season or two
Yeah.
so they can plot how they're going to work this out because they've got to get him there.
Yeah.
And what happens if AMC says, you know what, it's not working, we're going to cut you off after next season, then they're going to have to race to the
Hmm.
finish.
Unless Netflix, somebody like Netflix, picks them up and do it on Netflix. If that does happen, I hope Netflix picks it up so we can watch it.
I just hope they see it through because at some point it'll get to be like the Breaking Bad, those 2 years of Breaking Bad,
Hmm.
but from Saul's perspective.
Yeah.
So he's not saturated in Walt. Walt is, well, on some days he's this much of his day.
Hmm.
Walt ended up being a very time-consuming client, as it turns out,
Yeah.
a life-altering client.
Hmm.
But Saul's juggling other balls, and I don't know. Yeah, like okay, Jonathan Banks, Mike is a major character,
Hmm.
so maybe we'll get to see some Gus. Maybe because because it's all from those perspectives, but it has to relate to Saul somehow.
Hmm.
But it would be beautiful to see, like you said, I know a guy who knows a guy who knows.
Yeah.
Let's see those phone calls go down. Let's see that chain.
Let's see what happened. How did Saul find out about Walter White? Did he call up Mike and say, "Hey, will we be able to see that?" I hope we can. I hope we do. I hope we see Mike actually staking out Walter's place, staking out the school and everything. That would be some great scenes right there.
Oh, you mean
Yeah, he said
Fusebox, the Brock thing?
the in episode 8, Better Call Saul, Saul comes
Oh,
in at the end. He says, "My guy found you." He said it took him a whole day. It probably took him less than 3 hours. So we might be able to get to see that. I hope we get to see that.
I wonder if it'd be worthy of repeating that. I think what would be more interesting is seeing some things from Saul's view, because we're really getting Walt's view. And, Walt is the sun and
Hmm.
Saul is a planet.
Yeah,
Now Saul is the sun, and if Walt shows up, Jesse, they're planets
yeah.
around Saul.
Hmm.
So it has to be Saul's view. So
Hmm.
if Jesse and Walt have a conversation about Saul, no, they shouldn't be doing that on this show. I, you know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah. I
But
understand.
yeah, don't steal his thunder. He's in the spotlight.
Hmm.
But we might get some behind the scenes stuff that we never saw before.
I'm hoping for a return of Spooge and Skank.
Well, how would that happen? Unless they're clients of Saul at some point.
They are clients.
They are?
Remember, he said. Remember when they found out of the head crashing the ATM? Saul was like, "I'm a. He's a client of mine."
Hmm. You're right. You're right. Oh my goodness, that would be awesome.
Yeah.
That would be awesome. Those are epic characters. And then again, like, so Mike is a major character too, and he's simultaneously working for Saul and Gus.
Hmm.
And sometimes that's a conflict of interest, really.
Yeah.
So, maybe some Gus, but again, I want the Breaking Bad stuff in there, but
Maybe not a
it's like,
lot of it.
it's the frosting on the cake. It's not the
Hmm.
cake. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? It's something to make you squeal.
Yeah, just like Tuco. That made me jumped out of the couch.
Tuco, Gonzo, Nodos, Mike, Saul, and then Crazy 8 in a Dr. Pepper commercial.
I missed that. I
Yeah,
saw the commercial on the internet, but I missed it.
that it was, oh, we saw it, and we were like, that's Crazy 8. I think we saw it watching a video on the computer because I'm watching the episodes commercial free.
Hmm.
But yeah, they're obviously using that commercial in during Better Call Saul. But I called it. I had a Sunday night all planned out. I had 3 shows to watch. There's Shameless.
Mm.
That's a really funny show. Um, The Walking Dead, which I've become fond of. It's still way lower than Breaking Bad on the scale, but I really love it.
Hmm.
And Better Call Saul. Now, a few months ago, I would have said, I'll watch Better Call Saul whenever. Because I said, spin-off phobia because of spin-offs being really bad.
Hmm.
I only got psyched until the last couple of weeks, and so finally I decided that was going to be the headliner. And that, so, 'cause you have to watch things in order of increasing awesomeness. That's the order. So, Shameless goes first, because it's a comedy, and it's not having the greatest season so far. And then Walking Dead came back, and that's really, it's familiar, but new, and
Mm.
exciting. But I said, Better Call Saul is the headliner of this night. That's the one that's
Mhm.
really going to make us squeal.
Yeah.
And as good as The Walking Dead was, Better Call Saul was the headliner.
Oh, I knew it was going to be great as soon as I saw the opening. As soon as I saw Cinnabon, I thought this is going to be great. It's going to be
Did you
fantastic.
know? Did you know about that scene?
I did not know until I saw it. Until I saw it, I freaked out.
I could have spoiled it for so many people. I could have been posting it all over those Facebook pages, and I was like, no, I know something, but I'm not going to tell you. You'll thank me later. Um, I can't believe my friend told me that. I just because I probably actually maybe it's a good thing we went to a friend's house to watch it, and their kids were sleeping, and I might have screamed. So,
Yeah.
but yeah, it was still fun to watch. And then, oh, reminds me of that Jesse paranoia in that square
Hmm.
where they meet in season 5, where Jesse's looking at all these bald guys that
Hmm.
and Gene, the I don't know if he's a manager, but he's definitely working at Cinnabon. Thinks this guy is looking at him, and he is scared.
Hmm.
And the guy is not looking at him at all. He is really scared. And then poor guy sits down and watches his old commercials. The life he loved. But oh, I wanted so badly when he went through the TV. I wanted so badly for it to stop on news about the
Well,
Heisenberg case.
oh, that would have been great.
Maybe we'll still get it.
We still
But
might. We still might get that.
I feel like that's one big giant thing we're missing from Breaking Bad is the aftermath
We
and what the
might. We might get that because this is going to be like a sequel, a prequel, and everything in between. From what I've read, it's going to be like everything in between. So we
given
might
enough
get
seasons.
that.
They kind of backed off of that because they said that in the beginning,
Hmm.
and then more recent times they've called it a prequel. And again, I
Yeah.
think that's because they're not saying, okay, you guys are going to have 7 seasons.
Hmm.
Take your time, do it right. It doesn't work that way. So
Yeah.
they can't promise a sequel. But they threw it at us in the very, very first scene.
Hmm.
Oh, and their little opening intro thing is so short.
Yeah.
We always thought Breaking Bad was short. You know, the
Hmm.
opening didn't take too much time. This one's just like, okay, you missed it. Show's back on.
What I like about the opening sequence was that they shot it as a meth montage. They was cooking Cinnabons as a montage, and it reminded me of how Walt
Oh
and
wow.
Jesse cooked meth, and they did the montage.
Hey, those are pretty bad for you too.
Yeah,
Those are heart attacks waiting to happen. But
yeah.
and they're
Uh,
addictive.
I cannot wait until to see where they go from here. I wish Monday would hurry up and come.
Yeah, and I'm gonna wonder why. I mean, I know that because Tuco precedes Saul in Breaking Bad, so there's no encounters between them in Breaking Bad.
Hmm.
And but Tio, he brings Tio. I guess like again, that's from Walt's perspective. It's not Saul's perspective. Plus, they probably didn't know that they were gonna have him know the Salamanca family.
Hmm.
But this guy takes enemies, people who are about to kill him, including Walt and Jesse in Breaking Bad. We saw it there, now we're seeing
Yeah.
it now in this show. People that want to kill him. He turns it around and becomes their partners, and he comes up with some great plan.
Hmm.
And the next thing you know, they're working together, and he gets to
Yeah.
live and make money.
Hmm.
He's he can't even save his own life without wanting to profit.
Hmm. I also like the Slip and Jimmy backstory he gave. I think that was hilarious. Just a little bit more of Saul.
Oh yeah, he's
But
he's funny. And I saw somebody complain. They said something, Mr. Gilligan, you have to try harder. This is coming off like a comedy.
I
Oh my
don't
god,
see. I
it
only
is a
saw,
comedy.
yeah. I only saw a few comedic spots in there, which is the whole sequence between Saul and Mike. That was comedy.
It's a
That's the only thing
crime. It's a crime dramedy.
hmm
Its genres in order are comedy, drama, crime. Where Breaking Bad, I don't forget the order was drama, thriller. Oh, I forget the other one that they used. Crime.
mm
They used thriller instead of comedy. But Breaking Bad had a lot of dark humor.
Yeah.
Saul is supposed to be funny.
hmm
You know,
Yeah.
doing a speech to urinals, practicing.
Yeah. And that's what he was on Breaking Bad. He was supposed to be the comedic relief.
Mm-hmm.
And you take the comedic relief and give him his own show, of course it's going to be funny.
Right, and that's what worried me. I'm like, because there's funny and there's rip-roaring hilarious, and that's how I actually prefer mine.
hmm
Rip-roaring hilarious. But let's just hope. I don't want it to rely too much on Breaking Bad. It's like, I don't know how to describe it. I want it to be peppered with Breaking Bad. But I don't want Breaking Bad to carry this show. I want
Yeah.
Saul's adventures to carry the show. And Mike is supposed to be a major character here. And it's going to be really funny because this, again, Mike is going to put him, we've seen it in the previews, on the ground.
hmm
And Saul's going to be like, okay, A, I got to get myself out of this, and B, this guy could be handy, this useful.
hmm
I got to talk to him.
He might recruit him to help him with Nacho.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, and I want to know more about the Nacho Tuco thing.
Yeah.
Starting to think Tuco's going to kill Nacho.
Yeah, I don't think this is the last we've seen of Tuco.
Oh, no. No, I think he's there for a while.
Yeah.
The closer is over, which was his big obstacle with Breaking Bad.
hmm
I don't think he's doing anything else. And he's going to live a while, but he is going to go to jail for a while. And he's going to be in the same cell block as Skinny Pete.
Hmm. Ooh.
Because
Uh,
remember Skinny?
yeah. Yeah, I
Yeah.
remember Skinny Pete. He did time with him.
Uh-huh.
That I like to see that. I like to see. I think that'd be great. That'd be fantastic. I mean, there's 8 more episodes left until season 1 is done.
Only 8?
Yeah, because there's
I
going to
think
be 10 episodes this season.
10?
Yeah.
Okay. You know, Netflix is putting on some of the old shows, and it was like they just put on MASH. Actually, even a few years ago, House would have like 20 something episodes a season.
hmm Yeah, I
I'm
think
like,
the most they've
House?
done was like 24.
Yeah, and all these seasons, they're whipping out. I saw a 4 episode season of one show.
Oh wow.
Yeah, it's pathetic.
Well, I understand because it's a new thing they want to try, and if do 10 episodes, test it out. Then if they call for more, then they call for more. But from what I've heard, it's going to be 10 for season 1 and 13 for season 2.
13. I know, but there's a real lot that goes into it. But
hmm
yeah, MASH is on Netflix now, and it's 20 something up. It used to be you watched it, and the other thing is you watched from like September through June,
hmm
and the shows weren't on in the summer.
Yeah.
You know, they come on, and now because the winter is when people are in and they're looking for something to do, and
Hmm.
there's this big giant 2 month gap of time in the winter when there's nothing on anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah, but my TV schedule is gonna get really hectic.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I've
But
been
yeah.
watching Gotham. Gotham is a good show.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's fantastic. If you're into like Batman and all that, you'll like it. Yeah, even if you're not a Batman fan, you probably like it because it's a crime drama.
I have to try. I really have to try Game of Thrones. Not my genre, but I know that show is like really, really up there
Yeah, I've heard about that.
on the charts, you know. And I have friends who watch it, but and I want to watch The Wire just because it's always touted as like such a great show, and
I've
I
never
want
seen
to.
The Wire. I've been trying to look for episodes. I can't even find episodes online.
I don't know where I can find it. Yeah, so I have a few things I want to try, but then there's all these things that are going to come back. Mad Men,
Hmm.
um, other things I've forgotten. Oh, Bates Motel.
Yeah,
But
Bates Motel's
nothing,
pretty good.
nothing is interesting me as much as right now as Walking Dead and Better Call Saul.
And we've been going out this for an hour. I think let's just end this right here. I can't wait until Monday. We can do another show the 28th, which would be
2 weeks.
in 2 weeks
Phoenix.
with Phoenix.
Oh, that's a
Yeah,
big one.
Phoenix is a big one.
Yeah, that
Yeah,
one's great. Yeah, and I already went ahead and talked about part of that already.
well, just keep your notes, and then in 2 weeks you can whip them out again. And
All right.
all right, so keep warm, stay safe.
Oh yeah, you too.
All right, all right. See you in 2 weeks. Good night.
All right.